Welcome to Voices from the Valley, where we meet and learn from the movers and shakers in and around the Merrimack Valley. And now your hosts, John Bachmann and Ben Tallberg.
Hey, Ben, how you doing today, man?
Good, John. What's going on?
You know, just grinding and binding at the agency and then doing more and more podcasting work over here.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride over here, hasn't it?
Yes. I don't know which direction you're going in, buddy, but I want to let you know that I have like this nose ring almost thing. Last night, my dog was he gets so excited. He just like, when I'm playing with my son or my wife is giggling or something, I'm right next to her, he just goes crazy and he can't wait to play, and his paw came up and went wham, blood all over the place.
You're kidding.
Things like that. Yeah.
I don't notice anything at all.
Just my good side is now ruined, so I got to
Damn.
do my left side.
Ah.
Yeah.
See, things you never thought of before a video podcast
Yeah,
I got to
no
look
kidding.
damn
And
good.
Yeah, it's the first thing I thought of. Damn it.
Yeah, that's why I picked out the pink shirt today, too, just so I look good.
Yeah. Take away some of the look of me, put onto you.
It was all for you, my friend.
Yeah.
So this podcast is actually gaining a little bit of traction, too.
Hey.
Yeah. I actually had somebody reach out to us through the channels. I don't know if it was through the Instagram DMs or if it was an email, but this chiropractor reached out and said, you guys are doing an awesome job, so that made me feel good.
Huh.
Awesome. So we said, let's have her on the show, right?
Yeah.
So today we have Dr. Allie DiSalvo, who is the owner and treating physician at The Body Remedy. But more important than that, she is a wife to Patrick and mom to James. Allie, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Are you kidding me? First of all, that was a boost to the ego, having somebody reach out and be like, I need to be on the podcast. So that was very cool.
Yes, absolutely. I saw it came across on my Instagram page, and I said, this is awesome. I'm a new business owner in the Merrimack Valley, so gotta check it out.
Awesome. Yeah. So obviously you get the practice over there in Andover. We met before this as well, too, and it was great having coffee with you that day. But learn so much about your business, but I want these people to learn all about your business too. But before we get too far into The Body Remedy, why don't you tell us how you found yourself to starting your own business?
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up in Lowell, went to Andover Public Schools. My mom was a teacher in Andover, so that's how that worked. Played a lot of sports growing up, and I also was just very interested in school in biology. I had an awesome high school biology teacher. So when I went to college, Bates College, I studied biology there, and I was on the crew team. And it was a Division III school, but we were good, a good team. And we went to NCAAs all 4 years that I was there, came in second all 4 years. So
that's amazing.
I was big into it.
That's
huge. I was co-captain my senior year, and my senior year, I strained both my hamstrings so bad to I could barely walk, right? So I ended up going to the medical doctors, and they were like, you're just going to have to you're done, basically. Nothing we can really do for you. And I remember going into my coach's office, and, I sit down and I start crying, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to, finish rowing this year. And he said, well, that's it. You're coming to my house, because his wife is a chiropractor. And so she treated me on their living room floor, and got me through the season. And so after that, I was like, okay, I want to do that for other people. Because at that time, that was my world. If I couldn't row, what was I going to do,
So let's stick with that a little bit. So you were going to school to row.
Yeah.
What were you actually going to school for at that point before the chiro side of things?
So I was a biology major. So
Okay.
at Bates College, it's a liberal arts school. So it's kind of, it's more general than what you might get at a university. So I was just studying biology. I really had no idea what I wanted to do. My parents were starting to get a little worried. Graduation's coming up. What are we doing? How are we where are we going from here?
And then thankfully you got hurt. So that's great.
Yeah, yes, right? Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it all worked out somehow. And so I went to chiropractic school and got my degree, came back here. That school was in Iowa, by the way, which was...
Iowa?
Yeah, Iowa. So I spent 3 years out in Iowa. Mm-hmm. And then I moved back here and started working at a practice in Dracut. I did that for about a year, and it just wasn't quite the best fit for me as far as, how I wanted to practice. One thing about chiropractic is there's a lot of different ways to practice it. So you can go to, 5 different chiros and get a different type of treatment each time you go. And so it just wasn't really aligning with what I wanted. So I started looking for other practices and kind of other options for myself. And I found this practice in Boston that was more, focused on soft tissue work, which we can get into later too. And just spending more time with the patient and having more techniques to use. And so reached out to her. One thing led to another. I started working there for a while through COVID. But during COVID, things were very difficult. That office was in the heart of the financial district. So when the pandemic hit, Boston became like a ghost town. So most of our patients were people who were commuting into the city, and they no longer were doing that. So things really slowed down.
Well, even beyond that, how do you meet with, especially when the pandemic first hit? People didn't want to interact with one another.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
mind put your hands on each other. Jesus.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, we closed the office, for everybody thought 2 weeks. Okay, we'll close for 2 weeks.
Flatten the curve.
Yeah, exactly. 2 weeks became a month, became 6 weeks. And then my boss was finally like, okay, we got to at least open the doors. We got to see some people here. So, we kind of slowly, people started coming out of their houses, this is going to be okay. But it never really got back to what it was while I was there. And so it's coming up on a year now. It'll be a year in May that I had my last day there and decided to go ahead on and open my own practice.
All right. So back up for 1 second.
I know, that was a lot.
No, it's great. My question is that you're talking about different practices, different ways of treating with chiropractic care.
Yep.
What do you mean, and what are the different treatments?
Yeah, so basically, chiropractic, what it means, that word, it just means done by hand. So, sorry, I'm a hands talker too. So I'm gonna
That's all right. He's a whiz at editing.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah, sure he is.
So it means done by hand. So it can, as long as you're kind of doing this manual work, there's a lot that kind of falls into the realm of chiropractic. And what most people think of is that, cracking and popping, right? Which most chiros do, and I do that too on occasion. It's just not what I focus on, spend the majority of my time on. So I don't even do that to everybody that I see. I spend more time doing work with the muscles, tendons, ligaments, that sort of thing. And the main technique that I use is called dry needling. So that's taking an acupuncture needle, putting it into the muscle and trying to get those muscles to release and feel better.
Gotcha. I think my chiropractor had one of those guns where they literally go up to you and doof,
yes, yep.
or knock tick 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 tick, or
yes,
whatever it was.
yep. There's that too.
Okay,
So there's all kinds of different ways to.
So you're kind of a massage therapist, also.
So I'm not a licensed massage therapist. I guess kind of the difference would be more, I'm much more focused. So when you go to a massage therapist, typically they're going to do kind of more of a general, full body massage. Whereas with me, I'm going to really focus in on what your issue is. A little bit more knowledge of the human body and kind of how things heal and how everything works. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're using needles. All right. So I've never been to a chiropractor, and the reason why, it scares the hell out of me hearing the cracking and the popping.
Yeah.
I started to feel a little better when you said you don't do much of that. Now you're talking about needles. All right. Don't feel good again.
Yeah.
So did you train like Eastern medicine as well too? Is that how that came about? Or?
So when I joined the second practice that I worked at, they did this dry needling, and I had heard a lot about it while I was in school, but it's not something that they teach at chiropractic school. But when I joined the practice, they were saying they just were getting such great results from it, and she wanted me to go ahead and learn that too. So it's not acupuncture. And we have to be very clear about that because I am not a licensed acupuncturist. But basically the difference is with acupuncture, they're putting the needles into, I believe they call them acupoints or like energy points. Whereas with what I do, it's putting the needle into a trigger point. And so that's just for, certifications. So you go, it's kind of like a continuing ed. I mean, once you learn all of your human anatomy, it becomes more of kind of a technical, how do you put the needle in, that sort of thing.
So there's not blood squirting everywhere.
Right. Yeah. We don't want to there's definitely areas we don't want to put a needle in, and that's the main thing that, yeah.
So who are your clients then? Are they old, young athletes, injured people?
Really everybody. Yeah. My practice is somewhat geared toward the more athletic person.
Sorry, Ben, I'm out.
Yeah.
But I've come to really, what does that mean, an athlete? I mean, if you're a mom or dad, you're pretty much an athlete, chasing after your kids and that sort of thing. So it's really more just people that want to be active, that, if you can't pick your baby up, that's a problem, and it's because of pain. So I see people that's their goal. I want to play with my kid. I see people who want to compete in CrossFit competitions. So it kind of runs the gamut of, older, younger, chronic pain, acute pain, that sort of thing.
So now, all right, so let's go back to the business. Mm-hmm. Now you're on your own.
Yeah.
You decided to leave.
Yeah.
What was the thought process? What was your goal for the first year? Do you have your own building? Walk us through that a little bit. How'd you start off?
Sure. So basically, when I decided to leave, things were really hard during COVID. I mean, I got to a point where I even thought about leaving the profession. I mean, I was hardly making any money. I had these I was pretty, I was honestly kind of angry, with everything that had happened. I felt like I was bitter. I felt like I deserved more than what I had gone to school for all this time. I spent all this money. I had all these student loans. And I was almost spending more money to get into the city every day than I was making. And so I was like, I gotta find a job that's gonna just pay me a paycheck, like, a guaranteed paycheck. But we kind of, my husband and I, were trying to figure out what to do. And thank goodness I had his support through all of that. And I finally said, I think I've got to just go on my own, it's the only way to really do what I want to do and make the money to be able to support our family and, that sort of thing. So, it was a little scary, no one in our family owns a business, had ever opened a business. So, I mean, a lot of our family doesn't even understand what I do. So that on top of then you want to open your own business was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. Did you get any of those, like, are you sure you want to do
this?
And all that questioning?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But everybody kind of came around and said, okay, because they know once I decide I'm going to do something, it's going to happen. So you got to, just get on the train, really, because it's leaving the station.
Right.
But so just, I guess one day at a time I took because I really didn't know anything. I mean, I knew how to operate an office, like a chiropractic office, because I had been in 2 offices and they were 2 very different offices. So I kind of knew how I wanted my practice to run, but on the business side of things, I didn't really know anything. So it was really kind of like one step at a time, and then you start doing something and you realize, oh, in order to do that, I have to do this. And so that's
So let's talk directly about that.
Yeah.
You're starting this business from scratch. Do you incorporate? How do you decide that? You need to open a bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who are you leaning on for advice about this? Or were you just going on YouTube and figuring it out?
I mean, a little bit. Yeah. I was just kind of, gosh, sometimes I look back and I'm like, I don't even know how I did all of those things. But somehow, like I said, you open up the Google and you're like, how do I start a business? And, the first thing is, okay, well, I'm an LLC. So I did all the LLC paperwork and got the registered agent. And then you get the EIN number and all of that sort of thing, right? And it was funny because we were doing our taxes, a month ago. And my husband was like, do you have an EIN number? He's like,
are you really legit?
He thought you were breaking the law.
No, but he just, it's not that he was like, well, it's not that I didn't believe in you, but I
don't believe in you, but.
But seriously, you went this far?
He's like, wow, I'm really proud of you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of myself too.
Well, that's awesome. A lot of people will get clients along the way. They have a full-time job and they're doing okay. You had the COVID thing happen, so you couldn't get clients on the side.
Yeah.
That obviously was one of your thoughts, though. How do I get clients?
Totally.
And so what was your strategy to getting clients in the door as quick as you could?
Hey, Ben, what's new with you?
Hey, buddy. So we have changed our name.
What?
Yeah, we've gone from Amesbury Foreign Auto to AFA Auto Repair. It's just more simple. This gives us the opportunity to show that we also work on domestic vehicles. So we're foreign and domestic now. We're looking to just, it's pretty easy. You see what we do, and it opens the doors to more customers that we can help. Because there's a lot of people that have an Audi, but they also have a Chevy. So this kind of shows that we're now AFA Auto Repair. We're based out of Amesbury, but we could be based out of Newburyport, Salisbury someday. Ooh. Hey, we could move around. So this takes away the Amesbury part, the foreign part, and it really should help us kind of grow. That's what we want to do.
Awesome. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
AFA Auto Repair.
Yeah, that's it. Here we go. So what was your strategy to getting clients in the door as quick as you could?
So really grassroots, like door-to-door marketing. I started my Instagram page. I got on social media, which was very helpful. And then I just went to business. I focused a lot on gyms. And I've actually partnered with a couple of local gyms, which has been really helpful. But yeah, it was really just showing up and introducing myself and saying, hey, this is what I do. And
you had nowhere to go. Like, it's like shit or get off the pot, basically.
Yeah.
I'm going to get out there and I'm going to get people.
Yeah. Luckily, right? By the time I I opened my doors November 14th. So coming up on 6 months. And so it wasn't COVID times, so I could go out and it was a little bit easier to meet people that way. But yeah, really just getting out there and that was it. Yeah.
So when you say grassroots, are you physically cold calling, physically door knocking?
Yes.
All of the above?
Yes.
That's all. I love hearing that.
I send snail mail to doctors. I do all the things. Yeah.
I love it. Do you want to give a shout out to the gyms?
Yeah. So SLS Fitness in Lowell. I actually work in that gym, and that's also where I work out when I can. And then also F45 in North Andover.
Oh, awesome.
They send me a lot of people. So they're both really awesome gyms, really awesome communities that they've built. So
walk us through again. You went out to the gym. How many clients did you get?
So the first time I went to F45, I think I signed up 5 or 6 clients.
Is that good? I don't even know.
I was
That
thrilled.
sounds amazing.
I was
on cold calling, man. That's,
yeah, I was thrilled.
Because they're repeat too. Like it's just
Exactly.
like you're coming in over and over and
Yep.
over. Gotcha.
Yep. And every time you have a good connection with one person, you hope that then spreads to more people.
Sure.
So, yeah. So that was the first time I came home and I was like, next week I have a person every day,
Yeah.
and so that was really exciting for me. Yeah. So
Now, the business is still, it's you. First 6 months, it's just you, correct?
yeah, it's just me. Yep.
How the hell do you manage your time?
Yeah. Every day is just is very different. I kind of just focus on what the priorities are for that day and try to get it done. It's a good question. Take things as they come, I guess.
Are you continuing to marketing? I mean, you're still continuing to marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you're here literally right now, and you could be with the patient right now making money, but you're here actually promoting your business,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So is that like, do you figure into your weekly pattern and schedule and things like that, some of this marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess one of the challenges right now is because I'm the only person, the only employee, I'll say, balancing working in the business and working on the business is one of the hardest things, because I'm the treating physician, so I have to spend time with patients and then doing the notes that are associated with that. But then I also have to spend time doing all the admin stuff and the marketing and the bill paying and answering the phone calls and rescheduling the appointments. So, it is a kind of a balance of, and my hours aren't 9 to 5 that I'm seeing patients. So I see patients, today, like half the day. And then it's not just, now I'm off for half the day, Any business owner knows that. You're never really off. So
Tell me about it.
yeah.
I know that part. What about your office space? How did you find it? Where did you go? Is it you own the whole building, or is it a lease?
So it's a lease. It's right across from Whole Foods in Andover, if you know where that is. I found it online. And I reached out to one of my high school friends. Her mom is a local real estate agent, and she helped me, get in contact with the leasing agent, and we got through that. And then one of my other high school friends, her dad is a lawyer that does, real estate law.
Closing law?
Yeah. So he looked at the lease for me, made sure everything was okay. And I lucked out there. So I got that all squared away. I didn't get everything that I wanted in the lease because I was a brand new business owner. So they kind of get to tell you what the lease terms will be, but it was okay. I love the spot. So
there's 2 ways we can go here, and I hope we hit both of them. One is leaning on your network of people, but I don't want to go there yet. I want to talk about that commercial real estate. We've talked about it on a couple of other episodes for people that haven't had to deal with that, like me. I've never had to speak to a commercial real estate agent.
Yeah.
What was involved? Was the landlord interviewing you saying, maybe you're not a good fit here, or?
So I heard that on one of the podcasts.
She is really listening.
I am, yes.
Thank you.
I didn't have that experience where he did know I was a new business owner. So I didn't have a lot of, financial documents to show them. But and we worked mostly with the real estate agent, the leasing agent. This guy, the landlord, he's been there for so long. He's pretty hands off at this point. I've met him once. So he didn't even know this is kind of funny, but he didn't even know I had been given the keys.
What are you doing here?
Yeah. So, he's a nice guy. The office is great. They didn't have to do anything to the office. It was already like ready to go. They didn't even have to put a coat of paint on the walls. So whoever was there before me kept it like pristine. So he just, I wanted some things in the lease as far as, being able to cap how much the lease was going to go up year to year and that sort of thing. And that he didn't agree to, which is fine. That's his prerogative. So that was basically the biggest hurdle, I guess.
So how did you find the spot too? Because it sounds like it was probably some other practice before, because I'm assuming it's a waiting room, reception area, and then a treating room.
Yep. I have some other modalities in there too. So I have a couple of rooms for like red light therapy and compression therapy, but it was a psychologist, I think, was in there before. So I found it originally. I drove around Andover and I mean, that's what I did. I drove around and I looked for places that had for rent signs, and I saw it and I was like, oh, this could work. And so I called the number, and I actually had a really hard time getting in touch with the leasing agent. So that's why I had to get my friend involved because she could get in touch with him a little bit more easily.
Yeah, real estate agents, they have no problems calling. Like, I'll call every second of every day to get this deal.
Yes, they want the deal.
She was awesome.
So did you ever think about partnering with somebody for the rent? Like just basically half, you pay half, they pay half, they're their off hours?
I really didn't. I really wanted my own thing. I was done like working for somebody or having to kind of compromise what I wanted. So I was like, well, I'm going to do this by myself. But, hopefully I end up getting people in there that can help me build the practice.
So you're looking maybe in the future?
I think so.
How many offices do you have, I guess?
So there's 3 rooms. So there's the waiting room and then there's 3 rooms.
Okay.
So right now I'm, mainly just use one room, and then the other rooms have kind of, like I said, the other modalities in there, but it's definitely an option, even if it's someone that comes in while I'm not there and uses the treatment room.
Right.
So that's an option too, but it was just a little too complex. I was like, let me just figure this out first.
Just one thing at a time. Get going.
Yeah.
And you can always come back to that. Yeah.
Right.
So what's your timeline for adding on to the team?
At this point, I don't really have a timeline, I guess. I want my schedule to be full first.
Yeah.
So I can then say to people, hey, look how great this business is. Don't you want to come join, So
even like reception help, that still pushed that off for a little bit too?
It's still pushed, a little bit. Yeah. But it's getting to a point where I'd really like to have somebody there. The
tough thing about being by yourself, doing everything, is going back to the marketing and networking and doing that. Obviously John and I are in the same networking group, the BNI thing. And as an automotive shop, I was that guy. I was the one guy bringing a car in and doing the calling the people back and doing is so much when you're running a business. But one of the most important things was also getting more customers to come in, more clients and things like that. So have you thought about joining a networking group? Are you already in one?
Yeah, so I've definitely thought. I did BNI when I was in Boston, and they're awesome groups. I was telling John when we first met, that's how I ended up being able to buy my house through all of that group. I'm not.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How do I do that through BNI? Wait a second.
Well, there was a real estate agent. There was the mortgage
They didn't
guy.
pay for it, Ben.
Oh,
yeah. No, God.
Wrong. Okay.
Sorry.
I
No.
did the same thing.
No.
I used everybody in the BNI
Yeah,
group
it
to
was
buy a house.
great. Yeah. But no, right now I'm not in a networking group, and it's not that it's out of the question. It's just a lot of them, they require a lot of time. And so I'm trying to figure out the best kind of bang for your buck type of thing, because as you both know, time is very limited and time is money. And sometimes I have in the past joined different groups or done different marketing efforts that have given me very little in return. And so, that kind of, you learn to start to really look at things like, okay, is this really a good use of my time?
Yeah, when you're bootstrapping, you only have so much money.
Yeah.
It's got to go to that return on investment that's going to be the highest.
Yeah, and that's been an interesting thing for me, or a kind of a tough thing for me to have to grasp, because I've never had to really deal with so much of the finances before, and being in the industry that I'm in, it's about helping people, and to have to then think back to, okay, but what's in it for me? Like, how am I going to benefit from this? I feel a little bit like, oh, that feels a little like skeevy, Yeah. But
it shouldn't. It's okay to make money in our businesses.
Well, that's the thing.
It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately I can't work for free, so you gotta kind of just always be thinking, how is this gonna help the business grow? And
you know what I struggle with is I want to give this donation to something, but what do I get out of it? And I know that's not the right thing to say. I 100% get that. But if I'm putting a banner in the Little League field out there, I need a return on that investment. And how is that going to benefit me? Sometimes it's a donation too to something where, and it's okay to say that too. I hope. I'll get killed on that one.
No.
Why'd you give to this? Well, you know what I'm saying, John?
Well, no, absolutely. So last night, Kristen and I were having this discussion. So she does a lot of work with nonprofits, and they're trying to put together a strategy for something, and they're looking for businesses to help out and donate and do all that. And I told her, I said, that ain't going to work. And she's like, well, why not? It's a good plan. It's this. It works on both sides. I said, yeah, but that business owner, and it was a 1-year deal. I said, if I'm a business owner and I'm paying for 1 year, that's way too much freaking money for one thing to happen. Yeah. And I want to help that cause. I want to do all of that stuff. But really, what's it going to do for my business as well, too? As crappy as that may sound, we have to be realistic about it, too. Like you said, the Little League sign, or we're running some commercials right now for the Colleen Ritzer 5K that's coming up in Andover.
Yes, and I'm going to be there, too.
We'll be there.
I'm sponsoring that, too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So we will see you.
Yes.
But we have to see where the impact is on the community and the charity that we're helping out, but also what's it do for us too.
Yeah, and it's not always a money value. Yeah,
right.
There's absolutely more to it than that sometimes. So the return on investment, though, it's an investment, and you're looking for that return. Again, It doesn't always have to be monetary.
Yeah. And it's tough. That's tough as a business owner. You don't want to sound like that, but it's just the facts.
It is. And maybe everybody will kill the three of us, but the three of us can stick together.
Yep.
We got each other.
We got each other's back now. We're all good. I do want to tie it back to where we were before. I talk with my hands too.
Yep.
Leaning on your network.
Yes.
You had to lean on the real estate, the attorney.
Yep.
What other type of people are you leaning on? Again, starting a business from scratch. It's the most honorable thing I think somebody can do, but it's tough as shit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. My family.
Yeah.
Huge. My husband, my parents, they help out with babysitting and, putting things together in the office, all of that stuff when I first started. I'm trying to think who else I think just other, I've gotten to a point where I'm shameless, I say, I put myself out there and just, I've leaned on other businesses in the community to say, hey, here's my information. Can you give me a shout out on Instagram? Can you just give it to anybody else that you might know? So leaning on people in that way, it has been very helpful. I do have a few other friends who have small businesses, and so a lot of times we will collaborate, or we'll talk about different struggles, or this is how I got this started. One of my friends is helping me with email marketing and that sort of thing. So
yeah. Are you a member of any professional organizations or coaching groups like Ben's talked about on the auto repair side? Anything like that?
Yeah. I'm not currently.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if I ever have even. I get so wary of the coaching groups.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel just like
You think they're doing it just for the money?
I do.
Yeah, that's okay. That's not a bad thing to say.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so I get a little bit like, I don't know if I really need that, but it's something that is definitely an option, you know?
Yeah, I've seen those look at my chiropractic practice, but check out my book. And I'm coming live to Boston.
Yeah.
You got to come to that show.
Yeah.
And the tickets are only $3,000 a piece.
Yeah.
My book is $52, but I'm going to show you everything that it takes to do a business and all that.
Yeah.
Real coaching groups, though, you have to interview them. Like, they have to be a good fit. And if it's not, you say, okay, time out. I'm going to change and go to another one and go to another one. I will tell you, though, that having a business coach, I have one.
Yeah.
And I knew I needed one when I first started, when I took over my business. And I knew I needed one as immediately because they hold you accountable.
Sure.
Number one. And number two, it's somebody to rely, in the same industry that can help you along the way. It's not for everybody, and it is expensive. You get the right coach, and it's expensive, but it should pay for itself.
Right.
There are plenty of those that are just in it for themselves and trying to sell books and CDs and all that stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Gotta be careful.
No, yeah. I think, finding the right person would be key to that.
Or group.
Right? Yeah, or
Coaching
group.
group.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I see all the time on Instagram, oh, my business made, $10 million this year. My practice made this, I can show you the way. And I'm just like, well, I know how much money, each patient brings in. So like, how many people are you seeing a day?
Exactly.
And are you really treating them? Like, what's going on here? So,
Instagram is paying them too.
Yeah,
Facebook.
right,
They
yeah.
got a YouTube channel on the side and stuff.
So I lean your way, Allie, because in the insurance industry, it's that way. You see somebody that their Instagram reel or their Facebook post, and they're advertising this course or their free book, but you sign on and you get on this list, and then you pay for that over here and all that. And then you look up this person, and you looked on their LinkedIn, and they sold insurance for 6 months.
Yeah.
And they're going to teach me how to do it better. So that's what freaks me out.
I know.
So,
And I'm not trying to be negative about that, but I guess I'm wary of it. That's all.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
But it, kind of to Ben's point, is surrounding yourself with the right people.
Like-minded.
Yes.
Like-minded people
Yes.
that their growth mindset, they want to grow their business, and they're not afraid to share that.
And that's where I've really I've really benefited from. It's not necessarily other chiropractors, but just the other new business owners. For whatever reason, I've found that newer business owners are more willing to give advice than older business owners.
Let me ask you the question. When you're saying new business owners, is the business new or is the generation of the owner?
It might be both. I guess typically it's both. The business is new and the generation, the owner is also younger.
Yeah.
Whereas, chiropractors who have owned businesses longer and are older in age, I just haven't been able to get as much useful information.
That's an interesting thing, because I think there is definitely a generational thing
Yeah.
as well, too.
Yeah.
Where the mindset of even employees these days of there's no more loyalty to a company. We move around a lot. That's good or bad, whatever that may be.
Sure.
But also older business owners are used to people sticking around for 10, 15, 20 years. I need to gain that trust, and these are my secrets and all of that. So
Yeah.
I think that might have something to do with it, too.
I don't know. But
So following that new business trail there, you've been you're on your own for a year. Do you have any advice for others that are looking to start their own business, not even chiropractic practice? John, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, Ben?
Hey, so how long has Norwood Insurance been around?
Norwood Insurance has been around forever. We've been protecting families and businesses in the Merrimack Valley for over 150 years. So if people in the Merrimack Valley need to insure their homes, their autos, their businesses, you just need to look to us, Norwood Insurance Agency.
Got it. Do you have any advice for others that are looking to start their own business, not even chiropractic practice?
Sure. I would say just take one step at a time. You know, as we talked a little bit about earlier, if I had looked at everything at once, and some days I did do that, and I was just like, oh my God, you know, this is like an impossible goal. How am I going to get all of this done? I don't even know how to do most of the things that are on this list. So it's more just take the first thing, you know, figure it out, call who you need to call, Google what you need to Google.
They call that chunking. Right?
Yeah.
Kind of chunk.
Yeah. Chunking.
Highly technical term.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, I'll call people and be like, hey, I don't know anything about this. I really need your help, you know, and even if it's somebody that I don't know. And people respond well to that usually, honestly. If you're just honest about, I really need you to help me with this, please, you know. Yeah. And it all works out. Eventually you get to the end of the list and you're like, all right, let's open the door and here we go. So. And
then throw the patients on the bed and let's start needling them up.
Can I ask real quickly? You said your Instagram, and that's your fair. I haven't looked it up for you and your what do they call it, your profile. I'm not social media savvy at all, but so is that one of your main focuses? Is Instagram and if it is, what do you feel like you like? Posting things that shows your vulnerability, which makes you more human, or what is your? Well, let me ask you. Let me put into words.
What's my strategy?
What's your strategy?
Yeah. So that's a little tricky because in the field that I'm in, I want to be taken seriously, right? I don't want to be putting all of these silly reels up there where people just think like, oh, she's just some silly girl. But at the same time, I want it to be, like you said, relatable and have them see that I'm a real person and someone that they might enjoy interacting with for 20 minutes, you know? So I try to make it a combination of informative information and, you know, something that is just fun to watch or something that's kind of goofy. Because people like that too. You know, people go on to Instagram for kind of a break from reality. So to give them something that's a little funny is, I think, people appreciate. But that has been kind of my main, what I've focused on the most. I actually have hired a company to help me with SEO, search engine optimization for my website, to help try and get some more organic traffic that way. People to the website. Yeah,
you need to check out our Instagram. It's pretty slick. And like you said, though, people are on there. They're thumbing through, doing their just to pass the time and to be entertained. You probably don't want to do a reel or a TikTok video on LinkedIn because that's a different audience. They're looking for different things there.
Right.
But she's talking about her business, where I learned about dry needling by watching one where she did it to a meme song, though.
Yeah.
There was a song that was going on that was caught up in my algorithm anyways.
Yep.
And it's a slick way to put it together.
The vision I have of just like, just throwing needles into somebody.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that it's like I'm using needles, right? Like that scares a lot of people. So I try to have people see that it's not as scary as it sounds. And it's really not. It's, yeah. So
how do your clients feel when you say, hey, I'm going to needle you, but by the way, do you care if I videotape you while I'm doing it to show all my friends?
Well,
with some music in the background.
Yeah, right. So typically it's not on the first visit that I would
wait a couple.
Got it.
Yeah. Build a little rapport before we start videotaping it. But honestly, it's usually someone that I know pretty well, a friend or My husband is my mom. So on my website, it's my husband and then one of my close friends that did all of the photos for me. So
Pulling back the curtain.
yeah. Yeah. So I don't just whip out the camera and the needles in the first visit, you know.
Good to know.
Yeah, you can borrow these anytime you want, though. For it, so
I could, yeah. The lighting would be nice. I got to get that going in the office.
So, what is your vision moving forward for your business? What do you want to see happen in the next 5 years or so?
I want my schedule to be like bursting up. I want a wait list to get in. And I just want to be well known in the community as someone that I want to be like the go-to person. Oh, she can help you. You have this musculoskeletal issue, go see Dr. Allie. That's kind of the goal at this point, I try to keep it simple. I don't have grand plans of, franchising and doing all of that, but just having the office be buzzing every day. So
I think that's a great vision right there. We kind of touched on it a little bit about people within your network, but do you have any mentors that have got you to where you are right now?
Yeah. So my last boss, the woman that owned the practice I worked at second, she was amazing. And, she doesn't necessarily mentor me right now, but she's kind of the person that I modeled the way that I practice after, and also her business is kind of what I modeled my business after. So that's kind of my biggest mentor. And I can always ask her anything if I do have a question, or she kept those doors open, which was very nice. When I told her that I was leaving, she was very supportive of it and wanted to see me do well. And
so she doesn't necessarily mentor you now, but are you still in contact with her and communicate?
Yeah.
That's an awesome boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She, I'm so thankful for her because she really got me into like the type of practice that I do now. And I think if it wasn't for her, I'd probably be afraid to practice the way that, so like I said, my techniques are very different than traditional chiropractic. So, I had to have a space where I could start that, and I really have kind of leaned into those things because that's what I like to do. And that's what helped me originally. So she was just great at supporting me in that and really gave me freedom to be myself in that way. And then kind of showed me the ropes of a little bit of the business side of things. And she kept the doors open, said, call me whenever you need to. I hope things go well for you. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. It was really nice. Yeah.
So what do you want your friends and family to think of you as? Like, what is your legacy as you move forward? And let's say you don't make it home today. What do you want to put out there as your legacy? What do you want friends and family to remember you as?
Oh, gosh. That's deep.
Ben goes deep.
That's deep.
Everybody says the same thing. I love it. I love it.
I guess I just want to be known as someone who was a bright spot in people's day. I try to be that for people. They come into my office, they're in pain or, they're having a tough time with things, and try to just be a little light for them. And someone, that was confident, strong, knew what was strong in her beliefs, and just was there to help people. I think that's
So we've heard a bunch of legacy people. Like I love that bright. I want to be the bright spot in somebody's day. I write a lot of them down too, just to be like, you know what? If I ever get the chance to say what my legacy should be, so I think that is amazing to be. I think absolutely to be the bright spot in somebody's day is awesome. I love the way you put that.
Yeah, I mean, you never know how far that could go for somebody.
Yeah, sure.
So.
I love it, man. I don't think we should leave it anyplace else other than right there, Ben. What do you think?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you.
Allie, thank you for being the bright spot in my day.
Yes.
Both of our days.
My pleasure. Yes, anytime.
Good luck
Thank
filling
you.
your schedule and what you have to do. It's a lot.
Yeah. No, but it's been really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate you letting me talk honestly and,
Yeah.
about business. It's a great conversation.
No, thanks for coming on. And one thing I just want to say from Ben and I is congratulations. You said it like your family. They're like, what is this crazy gal doing? But congratulations. Just to get it off the ground and running is an amazing accomplishment.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How can we get in touch with you? How can your clients get in touch with you?
Yep. So I'm on Instagram at thebodyremedymA.com. Oh, The Body Remedy MA. And then my website is thebodyremedymA.com. And then you can email me, Dr. DiSalvo at thebodyremedy.com.
And we'll have those all listed out on the show notes as well, too. So with that, man, let's save it for the next one.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
That was awesome. The New Hampshire Department of Insurance reaching out to me.
Oh.
My license renews on Sunday. They effed up something.
Oh, boy.
So that's what I was doing this morning.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
Well, all right. You explain this to me. Maybe this is some good fodder on here, too.
Yeah, we're still recording.
Okay.
So I am licensed in Massachusetts, in New Hampshire, individually. So I have a resident license in Massachusetts. And normally what it is all my lines of authority carry over to other states. In Massachusetts, I have property and casualty, meaning this burns down or somebody trips and falls. But I also have travel. Why Massachusetts does that, I have no idea. Then you go out to the other states, like New Hampshire, and I say, I want a license there. I'm licensed in Mass. Can I get a license? And they say, yep, sure. And they fill out the paperwork and done. Well, I tried to renew today. And they turn around and they go, no, you have too many lines of authority. I said, no. I said, I have more. I don't have less. I have more. They're like, yeah, it doesn't match exactly. We can't renew you.
Oh, my God.
I said, can you explain that to me? And they said, we'll have to call you back. And that was the call. So.
Oh, God.
I don't get it. It's so frustrating.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So licensing, though, for chiropractic. Yeah,
dear.
why do you keep taking those off?
Throw it up back.
I don't know. Let me turn the cameras back on. Jesus
Hey, you
Christ.
never know. I might have something brilliant.
And by the way, your hair looks fantastic from yesterday, too,
Oh, thank you.
on her Instagram.
Salon Meta.
I
Shout
missed
out.
on that one. Licensing. Are you licensed in New Hampshire? Is there
No.
licensing?
Oh, yes, there's licensing, state licensing. So I can't practice in New Hampshire. I'm only licensed in Mass.
So that just means, though, that you couldn't be a mobile chiropractor. Is that pretty much what it is? Like you couldn't literally get in your car, cross the state line, and do any practice in New Hampshire.
Correct.
That's what it is. That's
Yeah.
weird. That's just kind of weird. I would think it would be a federal thing. Like, okay, federally, within the United States, you can practice.
I know. It's so bizarre. It's for a lot of physical therapy, all that is each state, because each state has its own scope. So there are things like I can dry needle in Massachusetts, but not chiropractors in every state aren't allowed to dry needle. So it depends where you live, what you can do.
All
I'm
right.
sure insurance has a lot to do with it.
I'm going to nerd out on you right now.
Yes.
So the reason why each state has all that, and even in Massachusetts, why all of that, it's Amendment 14. The right of interstate commerce. Yeah. So it's one state. I know. Jeez. Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
That always
Good old.
gets me.
And you know what? Watch it be like 13. John's completely blowing it out his ass and making this shit up. I think it's 14. But yeah, it's about the federal government cannot have a rule on top of a state. A state still has to be a sovereign entity and all that stuff.
Okay.
Unless the state doesn't have a rule about it, then the federal government can come in. So.
Oh, interesting.
Sorry.
You know what I found
Nerd.
funny though this year was that usually when you renew your license, they send you like a paper license in the mail. This year, it was just a PDF email. Print it out yourself.
Yeah, here you go.
They don't even pay for the postage or the paper anymore.
So that's insurance
But
right
they charge
now.
you the fee is probably $25
Oh
or
yeah.
something.
No. Oh yeah. More than
Send
that.
the PDF.
So I'm going through this right now because it's my birthday this weekend, and some states renew on your birthday.
25?
Oh.
Yeah, 43.
60?
Yeah. You didn't expect me to give my real age, did you?
No, good
By
for
that
you.
look.
5 years old. No.
But remember those days?
No.
It's some are on January 1, some it's on your birthday, in some states it's whenever you signed up for it. I didn't even know. Brian was getting a new appointment with another insurance company, and they're asking for all the license info. And he goes, could you send me your licenses?
Yeah.
I said, sure, here you go. He goes, you know it renews in 4 days? I said, nope.
Oh, God.
Good thing you did that.
Oh, my gosh. That's funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last thing I just want to, I might be wrong. You both might know better than I do as far as pot and weed and all of that stuff.
I've never,
Where's that going with
I literally have never smoked a day in my life. So there you go.
I had a great point. It was federally and state. I think the state has these certain rules, but federally it's illegal, but statewide it's legal. I mean, I don't understand all of that, but is it Amendment 14 or whatever? Does it have...
See, that's a little bit stranger, and it's still, I think, a legal battle on the pot deal,
Right.
because there is a federal, the illicit use of drugs is federally not allowed.
Not allowed.
But the states have passed their rules. So you can do it within the state, but when it comes to tax time and everything, it's a real cluster for these shops and everything too.
Yeah.
A lot of it is cash-based.
Because of the FDIC and banks can't
Yeah,
support it.
the banks won't support it either.
Can't have a checking account
Yeah,
or something like that.
Or they're worried that if they do have it, all of a sudden the federal government seizes it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
I apologize.
Oh,
Went
no.
totally off the rails
okay.
into the woods.
Let's get stoned. Yeah.
But
You know, alternative healthcare. It's okay.
yeah, you want to go into that?
It goes. It goes.
That might be your next letter that goes to some of the next cold calling. Pot shops. Alternative. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks again, though. It just
Yes.
shows how easygoing you are and
Yeah.
such a great personality.
No,
so thank you so much for sitting with us
Thank you.
and chilling out. Now we all got to get to work.
I know.
Real jobs.
Back to it.
I'm at work.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
This has been another episode of Voices from the Valley. If you'd like to be a guest or know someone that would be a great guest, send us an email at voicesfromthevalley@gmail.com. Want to learn more about Ben Tallberg and AFA Auto Repair? Head over to afaautorepair.com or call 978-388-5959. Want to learn more about John Bachmann and Norwood Insurance Agency? Head over to norwoodinsurance.com or call 978-372-5921. Thanks for tuning in to Voices from the Valley.